Welcome back. This is part 3 of 3. We're going to be covering NFTs, we're going to be covering smart contracts, Proppy, and if you haven't watched the original video of why I'm creating this series, take a look at the comment, check out the description below. I gave an interview to the neighbor of the first US transaction that sold using an NFT in real estate. Finally, before we jump into it, also check out the description below or the comments above to take a look at part 1, which we covered what is a blockchain, part 2, where we covered what's a cryptocurrency and really what's a currency. So let's jump into it. NFTs, now that you have a base understanding of what blockchain is, really an NFT is a group of blocks that you claim ownership of. That's really what it is at its base fundamental level. So if you understand what blockchain is from the previous video, think of you owning a block that puts your name as the owner of that block. And it's really just digital information that's stored all around the world. Well, how does that even relate to real estate? Well, let's think about that for a second. If you own a block of information, you can really store whatever you want in there. We need to cover what are smart contracts. Well, when we talk about real estate, forget all this cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFTs for a second. What happens when you actually buy a house? Well, you have a deed, which in traditional terms is a piece of paper that says the seller owns this property and they are deeding it over to the person that's buying, right? You also have lots of other information in there, maybe the contract and how much the person's buying it for. You may have some title work. What happens if you have a lien against the property, say a mortgage lien? The mortgage company is saying that you're borrowing $500,000 against the property, or let's say that there's a mechanics lien on the property. Some work was done and a debt wasn't paid. They put a mechanics lien against that property. All right. All of that happens today through a series of a lot of different companies and a lot of different databases, and it's kind of scattered all over the place. Well, in comes blockchain, right? And NFTs specifically. So let's talk about smart contracts. What if there was a way, and there is, that you could store those documents in a place that can never be changed? So now that we understand what blockchains are, what if you were to put your deed, the actual contract, and all of the title information into these digital blocks that can never be changed? That is what a smart contract and NFT actually is. So this home was sold that you watched the video on using an LLC, so there's a little bit more complex. I'm talking a little bit theoretical to let you know where real estate is going, but NFTs in real estate, the future is this, right? Think about this for a second. So if you have a deed, title work, and all of that stored in this block, what happens when you want to get a loan in the future? Well, if you want to get a loan and you already have your deed in this blockchain, the lender will just say that they have a lien against that so long as you approve that, okay? And that's instantaneous. What happens if there's a mechanics lien and some debt wasn't paid? You can put a mechanics lien against that NFT asset. That asset is basically a digital version that comes with the property. So now that we understand smart contracts and we understand what an NFT is and how that relates to real estate, how was this made possible? Well, it just so happens there was a company named Proppy, and you can check them out in the description below as well. Proppy, understanding what blockchain is, how to work with software, they got a group of developers, some financial backers, and got some software that allows you to move all those bits of information around, really the paperwork, and create those smart contracts to actually do real estate using NFT through blockchain, whether you're paying a US currency, a cryptocurrency, or really anything, right? So Proppy was actually the first company to do that. They were the one in Gulfport here that I gave the interview with that was able to use their software to leverage Ethereum, which we talked about in the first video. Again, a digital currency. They use the Ethereum software to build their own software onto to create these transactions. So I know that is a ton of information. Hopefully you guys followed it. If you still have questions, leave a comment below. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. But what does this mean for real estate in the future, right? And that's really the point of this series of videos. It really means that the potential, so long as it's adopted, which I fully believe will be adopted, is it allows you to instantly transfer ownership in the future of property. Okay, but what does that look like in reality? Because there's all kinds of things that go on with the property. If you have a physical asset, a house, there can be things wrong with that. So inspections aren't going away. Let's say that you put a contract in today, you still need to know if you qualify for the loan, right? And the lender may need to do an appraisal. All that happens today, that's not going away. When you have physical assets, you need to inspect them. You need to understand what they're worth. So that still applies. Now, the instant thing will be once you have an understanding, once the lender has an understanding, once you've had inspections done of if that property is valued and you want to commit to making the purchase, the transfer of that deed, all the paperwork will happen like that instantly. So really that's it. Now, where do I see the progression of cryptocurrency? How do I see this unfolding? I personally think that holding an NFT real estate asset will happen first. So an NFT will get created, and that NFT will represent the house that you're purchasing. But I think for a while, until cryptocurrency becomes more stable, you will probably see transactions occur with the NFT in US dollars. Eventually, I think there will be a mix of people buying NFT assets, meaning the properties, in US currency, and some being purchased via cryptocurrency. So hopefully you guys like this video. I hope this was helpful in understanding what NFTs are, what blockchain is, and what cryptocurrency is, and how it relates to the future. If you like this, make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified anytime new videos are put out, and would love to talk with you. Have a great day.